Hello and welcome everybody. It is our last game of the day here on week 3 of the LPL World Elite, going against Positive Energy here. Week 3, day 3 coverage, as we've got one more game to do here to round out the LPL Summer here. And it's a pretty big one here. My name, of course, is Pastry Time and Papa Smithy. I mean, what more can we say? We've already seen 3 great games, 3 crazy games in fact as well. World Elite here, one of the most, probably the best known team in China, one of the best here as well, playing against their former B teammates, Positive Energy.
Absolutely. It's worth knowing, as you said, that Positive Energy used to be that World Elite IROX team that served as their second team for a long time. Obviously now a separate entity for the purposes of competing in the LPL, and of course outdid their previous masters, finishing second in the split compared to World Elite's very disappointing 4th place finish. So it's going to be an interesting game here. I mean, World Elite have looked super strong this weekend, especially last game against Invictus Gaming yesterday. Just blew Invictus Gaming, off the rift. It was a fantastic performance. Whereas Positive Energy, there was definitely some fantastic play from Name and Jojo yesterday. But they just couldn't get it done against OMG. And it was just an unfortunate case there. So now they have a lot to do against World Elite.
Yeah, well, Elise, Zed, and Thresh, the bans there for WEPE, going to go ahead and ban out Twisted Fate, of course, there for the respect ban. Nunu, that's nice. Seen Man play that a couple of times there from the jungle, and at least in as the last one there as well. First pick Rise comes through, which at this point, at least in this week, here in this weekend for week 3, not too surprising, but I do love this pick here. They kind of mulled over a couple of champions here, did Positive Energy, but they've gone with the Twitch there, which looked so good, as you said, for Nami, and they're going to go with Zac in here as well. We've passed over to World Elite. We've got Evelyn plus Nami, so going to take the support that PU were considering a little here, and look who's back maybe. Papa Smithy, oh, she's gone. No more Shyvana.
It would have kind of capped off the weekend to see Shyvana in the hands of someone other than Young Glory, but not going to happen here, Pastry Time.
Probably the best thing though is we know the answer to the trivia question on the right hand side of the screen there. Who's that champion, Papa Smithy? It's one that I think a lot of people might get confused by, but that is Lulu and Karthus there for Positive
Absolutely.
Energy.
Due to cultural differences, Karthus represented a little bit different in the Chinese client, but it's one of those things that it was kind of a trivia question many a year ago to me, because of course the Chinese art has been out there. People have reskinned their clients many a time in the past, and Karthus looking a bit different, but still just as powerful as we remember him.
Yep, he may look a little different, but the champion definitely the same, and that is the pick there, Positive Energy. First time we've seen him this weekend, I believe, here in week 3 of the LPL, so kind of interesting to see that one there. Ezreal the pick up here, Wei Xiao going back to an old standard here, going to play the Ezreal, and Lysandra, actually the last pick here, so double AP once again with the potential for that top riser. I mean, both these champions actually can kind of play mid or top very nicely.
There's so much flexibility here. It's interesting to see what matchup they'll decide on. It probably depends on whether it's going to be a jungle Zac or whether we're going to see a top lane Zac. And again, we might not actually know the answer to that, as we have seen, of course, in the last game, World Elite were able to open up so much of an advantage, last minute swapping that Zac into the jungle and having the Jarvan versus Vlad top lane matchup.
Yeah, a lot potentially that can go in here for World Elite, but we are going to get into the game now as things start off. World Elite on your left here for our last game of the day here in week 3. It's been a great weekend of games so far here in the LPL Summer, and we'll see what these two very well-known, very experienced teams as well. In fact, both these teams been around for a while. World Elite, of course, one of the oldest teams in China to play League of Legends, up with Invictus Gaming. Basically been playing since it's been available in China. Here's World Elite going to move through a ward here to start things off, and Positive Energy, of course, their former B teammates could look good here. Fizzev going to check that brush up there with a Q, but gets hit by a Karthus Q actually coming out there. Jojo just throwing out a bit of damage. Oh, hello friends! Fizzev meets Sicker there, so support v support. I think maybe some teams know that there's going to be some swapping towards the top lane, but who knows? Could see some things move about, and in classic World Elite fashion, we are seeing some aggression, but they're not looking to pick some people off. If they get it, great, but of course they do need to make sure that those early wards are down.
And World Elite was one of the first teams to debut strategies such as the slow push strat that's been well recently defined by Monte Cristo, and getting those double wards down in priority areas of the jungle. I mean, they do have a jungle skirmish disadvantage early in the game, as in a 2v2, Jarvan is always going to be stronger than Evelyn unless people are at very low health and the W reset comes into effect. I mean, Jarvan very strong here. Some volatile lanes, so I do like the wards on the red side here. I just want as much information as possible for both these solo lane matchups to avoid that Jarvan pressure.
Yeah, curiously enough, man actually going to start his jungle on the red side here as Evelyn. So once that red early, I guess move up. I guess we do sit on the blue side because you want to move up towards the top lane for your first gank usually. Although, funnily enough, Jing is also going to be doing the same here on Jarvan. He's going to start his red buff up now as well. And looks like we are going to have a swap here. We're going to have Sika and Name up towards the top there with Lulu, Twitch. And this is a lane that can certainly get their push going if they want to.
And you have to like a 2v1 against Ryze compared to the potential for a 1v2 Zac here. Zac's much, much stronger in a 1v2 situation. I think he has that natural sustain. It's hard to completely force him out of lane because even when he gets low, of course, the max health versus current health from his passive starts to benefit him. Definitely favorable in a 1v2 matchup with Zac.
Yeah, and we've had something very interesting else to start off our early game here. Not only did we have the swap, Jojo has blue buff, which I only just noticed, which also explains the red start there. He actually got help there from K9, who's now going down towards the bottom lane to pick up his first few bits of experience there as the lane's going to push him. But that is a very, very early donation of that buff here.
And of course, what does that mean here? Evelyn here, level 2, will not have access to a blue buff this game as they managed the 2 blue buff trade.
Yep, and Jing actually up the top there. He stole the blue buff away, which is the other reason he wanted to start. So Evelyn starting towards the red side made it so that Jarvan could walk away and steal the blue buff there. Blue donated over to Karthus now, and now a 3-man push for Positive Energy. Going to really try and put the hammer on World Elite here.
You just almost never see the 3 buff start for teams. It's always seen as a bit greedy, a bit too risky, but Positive Energy are massively, massively ahead here. Evelyn having to jungle without blue buff, especially the early levels, till she gets that 400 gold for her Spirit Stone, really going to struggle.
Yeah, the only one really losing out here is K9's, but Zac, as you said, a very competent 1v2 laner, and probably just going to be happy to, take it as it comes here. I mean, he's only got 2 CS
He actually picked up
now.
a lot of experience from the blue buff. He entered lane over half the way to level 2, so, I mean, still in a 1v2 situation, but as favorable as can be, really.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually got a Slingshot, interestingly enough, here. Slingshot plus Stretching Strike, so can't quite use the W wave clear yet, but he'll have it soon enough here. And his Q's decent AoE as well. All Zac really has to do is just delay the inevitable here. Look at the push in top as well. Still going here for Positive Energy very, very quickly. And again, K9's just down the bottom. Almost gets himself prisoned up. That could have been bad news there, but Fizzif with a surprising miss there, actually. He doesn't usually make small mechanical errors like that one, but didn't quite predict Zac to go that way. And I mean, one of the nice things about this swap as well, Ezreal not really the best pusher in these 2v1 situations, so...
And it's, I think, just a level 1 victory and an early game victory all ends up to Positive Energy. They really started this game off with a storm. And they've got the 3 buffs, they've got the push down. It's interesting to see them wanting to re-rotate, though, here. They're not interested in forcing the second turret or going crazy like OMG did last game. They've taken their lead and they're just reverting back to standard lanes now.
Yeah, they actually were pushing it a bit, but I think they realized that the ground they were covering was not as quick as maybe they wanted it to be, so instead they are going to rotate down. Now Zac's going to go up towards the top lane here, start his farm off there, and we're going to have 2v2 down the bottom here. Although it looks like World Elite actually backing off, so maybe they want to make the swap again here. I don't know how Samael will feel about that on Ryze, but I'm sure he'll deal with it. And no, it looks like we are going to have 2v2 down the bottom now as World Elite's bottom lane make their way back down towards that lane.
And I guess puzzling out one of the reasons why Positive Energy might have halted their charge for the second turret might just be because Messiah on that Lissandra just has so much more map mobility early than the Karthus. I mean, Karthus never a very maneuverable champion, but even without boots, that E ability able to open up so much ground that maybe they thought Lissandra reacting and being able to turn the situation into a 3v3, they just weren't going to get the purchase from the further push. They've gone back to these small standard lanes.
Yeah, I think World Elite are happy that the push isn't continuing, actually, because one of the things I thought when we saw the push start from Positive Energy was that Lissandra would have been something that you'd be a little happy to have in that situation, just because, again, her wave clear, especially early on, is way better than Ryze's in those sorts of situations. In fact, that came up last game in IG vs OMG, so kind of interesting to see, but they decided to put Messiah mid on Lissandra instead, and I think Salme is going to be fine here in this situation, especially now that the swaps happen.
There's so many interesting little timing things can be done here. If you look here, Karthus actually hit 6 around 5 minutes 30, so he's very, very early hitting level 6. He has that global pressure. I mean, Messiah just hit 6 now, but to be ahead on Karthus, they have that global gank pressure with a ganking jungle like Jarvan. They could potentially start to snowball other lanes in addition to this top lane situation that they've already got the early advantage in.
Yeah, I mean, Karthus, as you said, not the best roamer, not the most mobile champion, but
starting with blue, he's going to have plenty of experience coming into mid lane, so it was always likely to happen.
Yep, and Requiem, thankfully, a very mobile spell. It kind of hits everyone, so, if there's ever a situation where that pops up, Jojo can just hit the alt button and go from there. So, may not have roaming pressure, but certainly has global pressure with that ultimate. So, Karthus very early, as you said, hitting that 6, now 7 actually, as he levels up still. In fact, a level a minute's very impressive. That blue buff is certainly very powerful.
And we're starting to see kind of a return to form from World Elite here. We've seen a very, very fast game for them against Invictus Gaming last time, but I think they're happy with lanes here and just farming it out, despite the fact they're against Karthus, Twitch, and to a lesser extent, but also relevant, Zac, all 3 champions who all really scale well with the farm.
Zhao losing the very bad end of that trade there. Tyco's Blessing not even used once yet here. Sika just setting up, just trying to zone them out here. Does so quite effectively. Tear of the Goddess up here for Wei Zhao. He's going to be going a blue build as well there. Manamune will be the build, and of course we'll have a gauntlet along the way, plus some other items that he likes. Guess they take out the golems there just for a little bit of extra experience. Other than that, everyone moving out here. Jojo collects blue buff for the 2nd time in a row, which is always nice when the mid laner does it themselves. And of course Karthus, plenty of damage to buff, so able to clear that out very easily.
I'm looking forward to kind of the mid-game to late-game team fights, trying to work out what these 2 comps do. I guess the really big difference here, kind of the one question mark for me, is what role will Lissandra play in team fights compared to Karthus here? Karthus, he's going to be that immovable, huge AoE damage threat. Lissandra, she has that burst, she has that untargetability. Whether she can get the assassination on Twitch might be the difference in team fights, because we have, the very tanky Ryze and Zac in team fights. There's a lot of parity in other situations. It's kind of the mid lane matchup that's the biggest question mark for me.
Yeah, and right now, Jojo's actually leading that NCS quite significantly here. He's 20 ahead of Messiah right now in his Lissandra, so looking good there. Obviously he's farming neutral minions right now. You can see on the minimap, he's got an early blue buff. He's, been taking farm where he can get it, but, Karthus definitely known as a power farmer, so nice to see him pretty firmly ahead of Messiah there in the mid lane. Other than that, CS checks. Zac looking good here against Ryze, actually. After that lane swap, definitely got in the better end of that deal there. So Salme going to have to play recovery a little bit there. Jungle looking good. Evelyn, I guess thankfully for her, is actually caught back up and able to CS quite nicely there. Not quite level 6, but neither is Jing. So both junglers getting a little hamstrung here, as Positive Energy going to move towards the mid lane now.
Yeah, Ryze's disadvantage in the early game was just not being able to CS at the turret, whereas Zac, of course, was able to freely CS at the turret.
Jing there looks for the knockup, gets it there onto Evelyn, but no follow-up there. Don't quite want to tower dive onto that one, so they'll just take a little bit of damage as they get it, and back out of that one. Down the bottom lane here, Wei Zhao, I guess to the surprise of almost no one, is ahead on CS currently, despite not having a super fun matchup there, but he's doing just fine here. And again, World Elite very happy in situations where they can just keep themselves farming, although would worry a little bit about the super late game here, as you mentioned, Papa. Twitch Karthus is no joke when it comes to damage output.
No, it's an interesting thing. It's whether Ryze can get just as farmed up as Zac. It's whether Lissandra can get assassination onto Twitch. There's lots of little things in teamfights that could prove very interesting.
Yeah, Evelyn as well, of course, needs to line up their initiations. Agony Zero's Tidal Wave sounds like a good setup on paper, but we'll see if World Elite can actually get it done here. Because apart from that, their initiation's kind of interesting. They've got Rune Prison there from Ryze if he's in range. They've got Lissandra if she gets in range for a W, which is practically melee as far as snares go, although it is a pretty nice AoE snare.
The ability to initiate from the AP position is something Lissandra has. That is a strength of her kit. I think any champion who can initiate from the mid AP
Tidal Wave down the bottom now as well. That's going to follow up. Requiem coming down as well. And actually, PE going to try and make something happen to this man, taking quite a bit of damage. Lissandra's in there as well. The damage coming through there. Job and picks up Evelyn, but it's already 2 kills there. There's the double coming out for Wei Zhao as well. So 3 kills for 1 there. All told there for World Elite. A very nice dive there down to bottom lane. And they get the tower.
That early advantage though, pastry time. I think Messiah's dead here.
Zac coming in there, damage coming through. Jojo flashes forward there, looks for the Defile and gets it. Exhaust used there as well. Let's Bounce actually pop their way. Zhao could be in trouble. A good Aqua Prison there from Fizzip, but I think Ezreal might be dead. Just one more there. Tycho's busting. Not quite enough barrier though. Will make it happen. K9 still going. Finds the stretching strike here. And Fizzip now has got to be worried. Bloblet should be up here for K9. Not even in danger of popping that passive either. Slingshot's out of the way. And Wei Zhao does die there on Ezreal. A very hard champion to get down, but that was a very epic dive there from PE.
You look at the gold difference though, page time. Picking up that turret and those early kills, but maybe the Dragon will be the answering call here. But World Elite still very much in this game. Positive Energy are probably going to be disappointed that they haven't been able to snowball this advantage after swapping lanes and having that favourable matchup.
K9's, funnily enough, actually gets turned into Bloblets. The Aquapism still attempted there, but Jarvan able to pick the one up. That was a nice move there, actually, from Fizzev, because No Smite, of course, there is top lane.
Would have been a story to tell his grandchildren.
It would have. I mean, No Smite there. Zach just killed himself. He's like, yeah, let me keep tanking this. I don't want you to take too much damage. I'll use my passive. Name actually almost killing Rise up there in the top lane as well, but Salmo manages to get out of that one. Very close trade there between those two. So this game definitely opening up now. I mean, only one tower apiece, but the map movement already for both teams pretty savage here as they're really just trying to get more of a foothold here. And the game's really even back up. Positive energy with that dragon. Got themselves about 700 gold in the lead, but despite the early disadvantage there for World Elite, I have to say they've come back nicely here and definitely got a much more even game now as we've tick over past the 12-minute mark.
I mean, Evelyn here, it'll be interesting to see what impact he has in the game. As Evelyn's, they tend to either go really big or kind of really become a bit of a passenger for their team. And Man, of course, very early in the previous season of the LPL was having Evelyn target bans before Diamondprox even started messing around with that champion. He's been really well known for his Evelyn play and competitive play for a very long time. But what he makes of it this game still remains to be seen.
Yeah, a little hamstrung at the start as well, with the nice 3-buff start here from PE. But, you know, level 7 now, and Evelyn's managed to pick up the ultimate, so just needs to kind of make something happen. Gone back now as well. Spirit of the Elder Lizard has been finished for Eve, so that is now available here. And that really is one of the items that I think brought Evelyn back into the jungle.
The burn build.
Like. The burn build. That's a good one. And, I mean, that's what it is. Just all burning all the time. Those hate spikes proccing that Spirit of the Elder Lizard, even in an AoE line. Very, very good stuff.
Had some slight tweaks to her E ability also, which now scales better on AD than it used to. So AD just was in a good spot for Evelyn, so it opened up a lot of options with her being able to go that burn build.
World Elite trying to find a foothold here, but looks like Jing going to come through. Good tidal wave actually, try and make something happen. They turn it around, they're going to get the damage through here. WHL almost able to clean that one up. And Requiem even used there as well, so a bit of a waste there for PE, really trying to make something happen there in the top lane, but very smart tidal wave usage there by Fizz shuts down that gank very quickly.
And one winner of the previous 2-for-2 trade down bottom lane is Xiaomei, who was actually way behind CS compared to K9's, but has managed to come back here, is looking a lot healthier on this rise. So of course, as we know, super item dependent.
It's one of those things, kind of knowing World Elite's tendency. Maybe Positive Energy should have looked more aggressive with their second tower push. I mean, I think
taking top turret like they did, and then rotating bot is supposed to open up dragon pressure. I mean, they did have the potential for that early dragon, but they chose not to do it. They stuck with the standard lanes, and World Elite have made sure that they have not had any snowball in terms of objectives here. Have positive energy.
And really, as you said, this is their wheelhouse. Just slowly, surely, methodically, and with a lot of farm, World Elite are going to get themselves to the mid game, get themselves to the late game, and then put themselves in the best position to do, honestly, what they probably do best, and that's team fight.
You'd always take them in a 5v5 team fight, barring, with equal comps, of course.
K9's coming down here as well, so May could be in a bit of trouble. Let's bounce, activated Ignite there as well. Up the top lane now, Jing actually hitting Syndra ulted up. Cataclysm's up there, good knock-up as well there by Lulu, and Mad taking a lot of damage. It does go down as JoJo's also rotated through. Fizzev could be in trouble here, but is going to get away, I think. Spray and pray pop there. Messiah looking here as well. Flash over the top there as the exhaust does go down, but no follow-up there for Karthus. JoJo actually has flash, but decided not to follow through there, and Lysandra just ease out of that one here as Wei Xiao now up in the top lane, all on his lonesome, but he's just going to try and CS where he can. 1-for-1 there actually in the top lane, all things told. In fact, Fizzev's still here as well, so Name could be in trouble. There's an aggressive arcane shift for Name going into stealth now, but Sick is now going to be the one in trouble. Twitch may be looking to block some mystic shots, but decides that he's probably going to die if he does that, and just leaves poor Sika and Lulu to die.
And just a smart play from Wei Xiao. I didn't think he had the mana to be able to pull off that move, but the mana moon, of course, deceptively big mana pool despite the low mana bar.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ezreal there.
And importantly, Xiaomei did not die in that exchange. When the camera moved away, we weren't sure of his fate, but stayed alive. We'll keep his turret up here and keeps farming.
Yeah, doing something that Xiaomei loves to do. I mean, all of World Elite, really, they love to farm here. Wei Xiao going to take out the top turret here as well. Maybe look to go into Jing, but decide against it. Just back off. Don't want to get too greedy here with positive energy coming off the respawn. So they'll just walk away. I mean, the gold dead even, in fact, this entire game almost. The towers are even, the kills are almost even. JoJo in the mid could be in trouble. Man, looking forward as well. A good snare actually there from Messiah as JoJo gets out of the way. I believe, yes, flashed into the snare there, and Man here going to take some damage here. Kind of a ambitious Requiem, I'll say, but Man is alive there through that one.
Messiah uses the cooldown, of course, knowing that Zonya's on a much shorter cooldown than Karthus' ultimate. I feel clearly quite confident now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the damage wouldn't have been too bad, but just wanted to make sure. And they're going to be able to stay in lane, although he's backing off now. As you said, a reasonably short cooldown.
Taking any sort of damage when you're looking to push, and he was clearly looking to push in and do some turret damage, yeah. If you're able to negate that damage, just helps you be a bit healthier. You're more of a threat when it comes to autoing down a turret.
Yeah, and I mean, Messiah's certainly no stranger to Zonya, so had that one very cleanly there. Jojo actually level 13. I was curious as to what level Karthus was. I had to imagine it was at least level 11 and is in fact quite high, level 13 there.
Look at those items as well, Pastry Time. I mean, he doesn't have any boots, so you have to remember that, but he has his core down very, very early.
Yeah, I mean, Requiem was certainly, I think, I called it ambitious. It was probably very close to being a dead Eve there, but unfortunately for Jojo, couldn't quite pick it up. You're right, though, in that Karthus doing well here. We normally see, Tear of the Goddess, Rod of Ages, looking at maybe 15, 16 minutes is good for both those items. He's got he's got Archangels and Rod of Ages already completed up here, so he's a very happy Karthus indeed. Next up, Messiah over the top, getting up to an initiate here, Wei Zhao, trying to cut off another, a great ult there from Messiah onto that Twitch, with the damage still coming in here. Jojo's dead, but so much power still here, and that Karthus does some damage, picks up the double, despite dying there on Twitch just again. We mentioned it already, the late game power of those two damage deals is immense there, and already here, as we kind of approach the mid game, Twitch and Karthus did so much there for the 2-for-1 trade.
Yeah, it's another swing in momentum here. There's been so many this game, and what great timing, of course. Looks like they'll be able to take the dragon out here, but Fizif once again investigating a contest.
Yeah, Wei Zhao look for it as well there with a Mystic Shot, but is picked up there once more by Jing. Manages to smite that one away here. So, I mean, World Elite kind of, they're unhappy that the dragon's gone, but still 1,000 gold between these two teams is very, very close, and it's kind of interesting, right? It's almost like we've got one team that we know loves to play late game versus a team that we don't know much about in terms of late game tendencies, or as much about, I should say, but certainly have a comp that looks really good on paper here. His bottom tower is going to go down. That's nice there for positive energy.
Still some very nice items coming out here. I mean, Wei Zhao having the Iceborne Gauntlet finish so early compared with the Mana Moon means that no shop power boost to the Mirror Mana is not going to be far away whatsoever. So I feel like the mid-game presence of Wei Zhao is going to be very strong and so important compared to he needs to be slippery here, given there's a Karthus, Jarvan, Zac frontline. So he's in a good spot to do his thing. But as I said, the Karthus is huge, and that Seraph's compared to that Mirror Mana timing might actually be a key factor for the next dragon.
Yeah, I mean, Salmei, he's really farmed up a storm despite being behind in the early game. I mean, he's doing okay. He's got Rod of Ages and Tear up now as well, so he's not too bad, but Ryze, I mean, really needs to get going on his build here. Lyssandra's damage is sort of interesting. She's definitely more there as a utility sort of CC style AP, whereas even Ezreal, he does respectable damage as an AD carry, but nothing in the range of Twitch here. So it almost feels like World Elite really going to have to, team fight well, use the Evelynn ultimate, use the initiation there from either their APs and really get the tidal wave to follow up. And really, for me, Salmei has a lot of the damage in that 5v5 situation.
I think it just comes down to, can Messiah interrupt Twitch, whether that's killing him outright or zoning him in terms of doing damage with that spray and pray to the whole team. Because, I mean, look at Man's build here. He's definitely going utility. You almost never see it, but we're going to see probably a Bulwark second from Evelynn.
Yeah, I mean, Spirit of the Elder Lizard, obviously your first choice there, so it picks that one up, but really just has not had the best game here. Wei Zhao going to get jumped on there, so good EQ combo, and that's going to be the Let's Bounce there. Great Arcane Shift though from Wei Zhao. Gets himself out of the way, but Requiem's probably going to kill him there. Oh, was that interrupted? I don't know how, but someone cancelled that ultimate, and Wei Zhao is still alive.
He even had barrier on cooldown, so it must have been.
I mean, Requiem did not, it channeled and he's still alive, so absolutely was cancelled somehow. Missed how it's kind of looking through the ultimates. I think it was Tidal Wave actually. Unfortunately the camera wasn't there for me to see, but I think Fizif interrupted that with Tidal Wave. That would have been pretty sick if that's what happened, but whoever stopped it, does there some sort of metal on? There's the ult from Messiah, initiates in there, good Zonya's in there as well. Salmei now in there with a follow-up, and that's good pickoffs there for World Elite.
Positive energy going to be feeling awful, because that should have been a short kill, and Wei Zhao being down changes the team fight completely. Now Wei Zhao's back up, it's going to be back full health in mid lane. The turret's going to come out equalizing here for World Elite.
Yeah, 3 for 3 now as the mid turret does fall down. The gold advantage still here for positive energy by a little bit of 300 gold between these two here, as World Elite are going to try and pressure up this mid tower. Salmei just kind of chasing away that Zac.
Doesn't want a slingshot coming into his team.
Nope. So it's actually kind of low as well. Needs to be a little careful. Salmei going to come in there. Flash out there as well. Messiah going to come through. Look for the initiation. Finds it. There's some bloblets there as the True Shot Barrage will miss all of them, unfortunately. But Jarvan, Aqua Prisoned up in there as well. Going to take quite a bit now. Nanami coming through to try and do the damage. Seeker in there as well as the Iceborne Gauntlet's going to go in. Weishao very aggressive here on Ezreal. Almost picks up that kill. But again, another nice trade. I think 2 for 2 overall in the last few fights. And no extra pressure here for World Elite. Unfortunately, forced to back away there from the mid. But despite being slightly behind, now they're slightly ahead, although it's very, very even between these two teams at this point. World Elite still looking like they're finding those spots, and we said, hey, how good is Messiah's Lissandra? What can he really do? And he's picked a lot of really good spots. I think that could be a dead Ezreal, although, once again, just slips away with Arcane Shift.
Has the armor, of course, from the Iceborne Gauntlet. Is a slippery champion. I thought he was dead too, but then I remembered, nope, he's just Ezreal.
Not even Bork Twitch with Spray and Pray can pick him off there, so Weijiao's going to be feeling pretty happy with that one. Was forced to use the barrier in all fairness, so has to trade that Summoner spell away, but he'll take it to keep his life for a little while longer. Looks like Last Whisper is going to be the next item here for Ezreal.
Is ahead on CS and of course the kill, so he is ahead of the Twitchers. Still working on his Phantom Dancer, probably has the gold for it now, but the Last Whisper Mirror Mana power jump will be really big. But of course we're still waiting on that timer for the Mirror Mana and the Seraph's Embrace.
Yep, those two items kind of racing against each other here at this point. Have to think that Karthus will finish first, but we'll have to see. And of course it's going to be a big jump in power for both those champions here. I mean, Karthus still doing well here. The highest CS in the game by a lot, actually. Jojo's been farming up a storm.
He's level 1 blue, I mean, it's so risky because there could have been, you know, no blue on the jungler, and Jarvan, of course, does struggle, needs the blue to clear his early camps, but when you go all in on strategies like that, you reap the rewards. Yeah,
it was definitely something where Positive Energy were like, we kind of know how World Elite like to play, so let's try and play really aggressive at them. And it definitely worked. The strategy pulled off beautifully for Positive Energy, but World Elite really, as they've been known to do, just pulled this game back to a stalemate, and they're very happy in the situation where they're able to get empty lane farm, where they're just walking through, and as we said, Messiah clearly able to make the plays here on that Lissandra, so we'll see what Positive Energy can do here. They've got certainly plenty of farm on their key damage deals. They've got good team fight with Jarvan and Zac in there as well, so they can definitely make things happen here. It's just a matter of, I guess, which major team fight happens first, because I think at this point, given that the game's so even, it's really going to be a big 5v5 that determines who takes this one away.
And I have to say, I mean, although the team fight very clearly, you look at the PE team, like that's a team fight comp. I mean, Blue Ezreal's so maneuverable pastry time, and once he has the Mirror Man and the Last Whisper here, I don't know if there's a lot of answers to what he's going to do in team fights, just because there's not a lot of people who can really close down the distance on that Blue Ezreal.
Yep, Dragon for the 3rd time in a row, I believe they're being picked up by Positive Energy, so they've got that objective on lockdown. Still the goal difference between these two teams, impressively under 1,000 still, which is something to say given that World Leader behind 3 Dragons and almost
Mirror Mana completed.
Alright, he won the race. That's kind of crazy, actually, that he beat Karthus, especially given that I believe on this patch it was the Archangel's change, where it now gives you more mana.
It is indeed the tier changes on this patch.
So that's
and they're giving him
impressive.
blue as well, which is super interesting based time.
Yeah, he's going to pick that one away. I mean, Lissandra with that passive gets a couple free spells.
Ryze as well, though. I mean, Lissandra and Ryze both have an argument. I mean, you could even argue Evelyn have an argument for blue here, but if he can go back and shop with that blue buff and pick up a Last Whisper, very, very scary. Although, of course, the Seraph's Embrace momentarily, just about 20 seconds later, completed for Karthus.
Yep, flicks over there, and JoJo's now got that item completed up as well. Phantom Dancer also finished up for Twitch, speaking of completed items, so Name's going to be happy with that one. And just in general, again, a very close game. And usually in close games, it's big fights that determine. I mean, unless there's massive blunders or crazy split pushes are happening everywhere, even games are usually determined by which team outplays the other in a team fight. And for the last few
advantage actually coming out for World Elite here, based your time.
Yeah, the last few skirmishes seem to be in favor of World Elite, but what can they do in a big 5v5 fight? And as you said, you kind of mentioned it, Evelyn doesn't like to go tanky, but has built a bulwark here out of necessity, out of not having too much gold. It's hard to say, but certainly a strong item here, and everyone's happy to have it.
Highly, you know, it has very high mobility, does Evelyn, so maybe just the ult and then some early chase, and then kind of moving back and using that mobility to ensure the bulwark always around, because of course the double AP coming out from Positive Energy Bulwark, a very strong answer to that.
I mean, the thing is, with Eve, as you initiate, you kind of don't do too much on top of that. One of the nice things about Spirit of the Elder Lizard is that you're kind of consistently doing damage with it because of Hate Spike, and it does do true damage, so if for some reason you don't end up dying after initiating, which really you probably are going to, unless it's just an amazing wipe team fight, then I like it. I think you don't need a whole lot more. I mean, you can have more as Eve, certainly, but I think given the way the game's going here, Eve kind of had a slow start to the game. 147, not the best score here for Man. I think a very smart choice, and as you said, especially against that double AP, makes a lot of sense.
But Weijiao's definitely hit critical mass here, pastry time. He's got the big items, he's got double buffs at this point. You never want to choose a team fight against the double buff Ezreal at the best of times, but he's hit the item match as well, looking very, very threatening.
And there was a period a long time ago, and I'm talking a long time ago here, many years, where Ezreal with red buff was absolutely the scariest thing in the game. And I mean,
a red buff nerf or two ago.
Many nerf ago. There's again a very long time ago here, but it was just insane how good red buff Ezreal was, and it kind of makes a lot of sense. He's a highly mobile champion. He's doing damage. He's kiting you around. Double buff Ezreal is a very real thing. He's one of the few AD carries that really benefits. I think almost would benefit the most, I'd say, especially with blue Ezreal from having both those buffs. And you can tell
40% CDR. I mean, a bit of a stacking slow and true damage and AOE damage. I mean, blue Ezreal does a lot, and 40% CDR blue Ezreal should never die in these team fights.
Yeah. And
that's saying a lot with Akarthus on the enemy team.
Yep, and you kind of identify that World League have said, alright, Weijiao, we trust you. Here are all our eggs. Put them in your basket.
New strategy.
Yeah. Give everything to Weijiao and see what happens.
New old strategy,
sure. And we'll see. I mean, Positive Energy kind of caught back behind their tower here. The siege potential not great for World Elite, but especially with the blue buff sadly is worn off now, but Weijiao happily can spam out here and just use the poke here. And they've got good disengage if it comes to that. They've got decent ways to reset a team fight. World Elite probably happy in a poke war here. In fact, Man's even mid, just pressuring a little bit here. So still a very tense game between these two teams. I think Baron at this point is going to be the major objective that the teams will fight over, because really we still haven't had a 5v5 team fight.
No, we haven't. They've been swiftly avoided so far. And it's a new World Elite still, Peixiang. It's easy to say, well, Weijiao-centric, we're talking about Season 2, but that forgets, of course, the fact here that there are 4 damage threats on this World Elite side. This isn't a 2 damage threat comp, a mid and an
that's now way over the top. Man's in trouble. Knock up there as well. And that was not a 1v1. Evelyn wanted to start there. Actually buys enough time to take out the tier 2 turret. Fizzaf may have to blow the ult here as well, but has to be careful, because when I get the animation cancel, Cataclysm comes through there as well. And there's a beautiful tidal wave there from Fizzaf. But the slow coming in, the Venomous cast, damaging from Twitch. There is going to be a dead Nami. Weijiao forced to get out here as well. Needs to flash actually, but which the Arcane ship back. Messiah coming in, trying to make something happen. Turns around into Jojo, but it's not quite in there. The double kill though as the snipe comes through for True Shot Barrage. Requiem in there as well. That's a dead Weijiao as so much damage comes in here, and I don't think Salmei can last the night here. No, he cannot, as Name comes through for the damage, and all of a sudden Positive Energy, one little pick off there in mid, and they ace World Elite.
Will they be able to turn it into an advantage though, pastry time? And it's a point that, I mean, comment that casters are really harking on, is that you need to translate those picks into objectives. World Elite got the objective. They've certainly shifted some gold to the PE side, as we see it, just over a 1.2k gold lead here, but no objectives down. Will that gold change the face of the next team fight? Is there an obvious item that's been completed compared to, a recipe that's a little bit short on the World Elite side? I don't see it just yet, but still, scary times World Elite. It'll play on their minds. They did lose that team fight.
Yeah, it was interesting that Man just was hanging out in mid. I mean, as I said, Evelyn just looking to apply some pressure there. Unfortunately, got into a 1v1 with probably the one person you don't want to 1v1 on the Positive Energy side. That is Twitch, so had to eat that one there. Evelyn was not too happy.
It probably would have been a bit of mind games. We missed some of it there, but it would have been a situation of he would have been looking to dispel the slow from Bork and from the Venom cask there, but if Twitch just holds on to that cooldown, hard for Evelyn to escape. So W, of course, does dispel slows.
Yeah, first dragon going to come in now as well for World Elite, so they'll pick that one up, even the gold back up. In fact, they take a slight lead in here once again. Now Positive Energy charging down the mid lane. This is really what we expect at this point of the game. 30.5 minutes in. It is time to do the Baron dance, ladies and gentlemen. Never mind, actually. The dance is being rushed in here by Positive Energy. They're going straight for the Baron. Decent positioning around here in this one. We'll see what World Elite can get done. Messiah's going to set it up. The True Shot Barrage is going to spot it off. The Baron damage so massive as Jing picks that one up. Messiah goes in there. Zonius is in there as well. The damage coming through there, but there's the kill for Name. The Cataclysm, they're coming in as well. Positive Energy with the follow-up now. Kanard's going to go exploding into Bloblets, but that's not quite enough there. A 1-for-2 trade there on the kills, but the Baron buff goes over to Positive Energy. It's just a matter at this point they're trying to snipe off Zac. Not quite though. Jojo goes down. That's a crucial crucial kill. But now the Requiem, I think, will be able to come out. No, he doesn't have it. It's not quite back off cooldown. Wei Xiao taking a lot of damage from Name, though. And that was not the right spot for Ezreal to stand there on that on Twitch. Just too much damage up front. Now Fizzif going to get chased down here as well. K-Nides, they wish they killed him when he was a bunch of blobs, because Zach getting all that health back from the bloblets, collecting where he goes, will back off there and Fizzif will not get dived. But hard to say. I think a win there for Positive Energy by picking up that Baron buff. The gold would certainly reflect that, but still a very close game here between these two teams.
Yeah, Baron buff and kills, they do eke ahead out there. And they should pick up another turret here, so very nice play from Positive Energy. They rushed down the Baron, they just did more Baron damage than it seemed like World Elite could anticipate.
Yeah, that was, I mean, we mentioned the two kind of hyper carry damage dealers on the Positive Energy team. Karthus Twitch is no joke when it comes to standing DPS, so I guess not too surprising, yeah, but clearly caught World Elite slightly off guard there for that one. And that was a very, very fast Baron that got taken out. I mean, the True Shot Barrage at that point was just like, oh, that helped them, that's not good news. Better than the, oh, it's too late, they've already done it, True Shot Barrage, but...
And it gave them some momentary vision, which they might
Which they definitely needed, yes. No Twisted Fate this time, not able to get that vision. And Wei Xiao now building up, I think there's a BF Sword and a Negatron Cloak. I'm assuming he's probably building Bloodthirst, so he could build Infinity Edge. If the game goes super late, I imagine we'll probably see it, but Negatron Cloak's kind of interesting to me. I wonder what he's building there.
Could be a Quicksilver Sash, I guess, Page 10.
Probably a Quicksilver Sash. I mean, there's not too many CCs, but I guess, again, as Ezreal...
The Karthus Wall, if he ever gets caught in a bad position, is probably worthy of a QSS there. Yeah. I mean, the Mercurial Scimitar is actually finished on Twitch, which is usually an item that's only finished last just because it gives so little extra stats compared to a BF Sword on top of a QSS, but maybe that 80, maybe the 80 health and the on-hit lifesteal from the Doran's Blade, maybe just considered that more useful.
World Elite trying to be sneaky, but Jin gonna go in there. The Cataclysm follow with Zac in there as well, also making it happen. But man, gets a nice kill there under Sika. Jojo Sonus in there as well. Messiah gets popped in there, and Twitch is just doing so much damage here. There's a double kill actually coming out as Evelyn's gonna go down there. Wei Xiao trying to get out of the way, but gets picked up again as Twitch gets the triple. Requiem gonna clean up Fizzif in there as well, and Salmei still left alive here as he walks away around towards the top of the map. Positive Energy gonna charge down the mid lane as well, and I don't think Salmei can stop this inhibitor from going down.
And 2 team fights in a row, expertly played by his Positive Energy. It was such a close game, but it's not feeling that anymore.
It really isn't. I mean, the goal difference was maybe 1,000 at one point as the biggest difference between these two. Now well and truly over 5,000 for Positive Energy, and just a few team fights here and there really made it happen. And, you know, we said they've got the damage deals. Can they make the initiation happen? The answer clearly yes here for PE.
But what answer do they have for this Twitch is the big question, I think, is the question, Page Time. We talked about the potential for Lissandra to shut him down, but once that QSS has been finished, and now the Scimitar is the same story, they just don't have any answer to the standing DPS. They have no one to shut down this spray and brand. Name 9-1-10 is just annihilating World Elite.
Yeah, I mean, those items there, just kind of clicking through them there for Twitch. You can see Scimitar, Blade of the Ruin King, Phantom Hunter, and Last Wisp were all completed up here, so much damage coming out from this Twitch. I mean, probably going to build an Infinity Edge at one point, maybe going to trade it in for something else. Could even just build it and say, I don't really need a GI, I like my QSS, my team will protect me, and go from there. I mean, Karthus as well, almost got a Rabadons, but he's got Zonius, he's got Rod Evaders, and the Seraph's Embrace that we finished.
But there's no dive Pastry Time. I mean, Messiah's the only real answer to getting on top of a Twitch in a team fight, and that's, I mean, what the QSS with the Mercurial Scimitar finished, that doesn't do much, and Xiaomei can't really walk through Karthus, Jarvan, Lulu slows, I mean, Zax lets bounce to get to the Twitch, so Twitch is just free hitting at the back, not a care in the world. He can very easily finish an Infinity Edge here just because there's no answer to him.
And with the longest range in the game with Spray and Pray on, he can really actually sit all the way at the back there. And I mean, Twitch, one of the best hyper carries in the game, possibly the best. That's certainly up for debate. But I mean, Name's Twitch, every time we've seen it, has looked fantastic here. And I guess
it just feels like Lissandra's almost been outscaled at this point, because her role in a team fight is to get some nice CC down, stun a target other than the priority target, of course, that is Twitch. And then maybe she really dies in the AoE. Yeah,
I mean, you can use your Zona's tricks to try and get out from under some of the CC, but if you're initiating effectively for your team, using your burst, then hey, you've done your job as your AP mate here on Lissandra. But World Elite, they've we said what happens when the teams start 5v5ing, and Positive Energy have really said, hey, we've got the better comp here, we feel comfortable, and we're going to initiate onto you, and World Elite have just not found the answer yet. In the skirmishes, when they were still kind of playing catch-up in the game, World Elite looked great, and Messiah was really making their plays, but now that they're all grouped together 5v5, looked hard here, and the Nama's going to find Wei Zhao. Oh man, Requiem actually coming in as well, just for basically poke here. I mean, it might look kind of silly, but that's a lot of damage done to some key targets here. Positive Energy maybe not timing that one as much as they would have liked to there.
If the minion wave was a bit closer, it would have been a masterstroke, but as you point out, yeah, maybe a little bit trigger happy.
K9's going deep there. Looks like Jing in the back as well. Damage coming out to Sika though. Messiah gets in there with the Zonies trying to make it happen. Let's bounce. Popped in there from Zach as well. Man, quite low here. Everyone from Waterloo kind of getting down on it, but the damage is kind of coming through. Name! Pop by the Aquabus in a little out of position. Very key there. And Positive Energy K9 still going in here as Waterloo play cleanup, but a dive slightly mis-executed there. Karthus is still alive. Jarvan somewhere is very, very low, almost dead. But World Elite defend their base successfully. A 3-for-1 trade there with Messiah. We mentioned that he kind of needs to make it happen. He really, really did under that turret.
Yeah, look, they managed to win that fight here, but with the super minions pushing in, not much they can do apart from clear waves here. Positive Energy going to regroup, try and communicate what went wrong in that fight. They're going to have a second shot at trying to, get the kill and finish off this game, I think.
Yeah, good thing Jojo stayed alive as well. Did not have his ultimate for that fight, so was kind of happy to be like, yeah, I'm gonna get away here and not die. He's actually soloing Dragon right now on the, you can see on the minimap, so gonna pick up a little bit of extra gold there for his team as Dragon does go down. Baron should be back on the way as well. That's gonna be a big, big objective for these teams. And of course, World Elite will want to fight for that if they can, but the inhibitor in mid being down could make that problematic.
And the comp, looking at the comp, I did see the mobility of Ezra. I was really liking that pick, but just thinking about the synergy between the Karthus and all the space control. I mean, they have massive space control on Positive Energy. And then looking at the champions present on World Elite, Ryze, Evelyn, and Lissandra aren't getting to Twitch. And then if they even get a bit of damage on Twitch, he's getting wild growth. So it's just really, really hard for them to walk through all this space.
Arcane Chief's out from under the catacombs, but Name ambushes in, hasn't played the Ruin King. The Tidal Wave's going to clip him, but he's very low. Kano's there taking a little bit of damage around the back, but it's not enough there. Zach very, very tanky at this point, still hunting the Wei Zhao. Man, now getting hunted down there as well. Good Aquabis though, finds sick of the damage coming through. Requiem getting popped in there as well, but that is the kill there onto Wei Zhao. They pick him up, but they could maybe still go on him. Messiah with the Zonies trying to shake off some of the damage, but caught out of position now, not able to get anywhere there as he dies before he can E out of the way. And Positive Energy, 2 very key kills there on the AD carry and at mid there. And they're going to keep chasing down here. They've only lost Sika, their support, who died very quickly, but in fact didn't even use ultimate for poor Lulu, but it doesn't really matter here. Positive Energy still going to get in here. Slingshot coming out for Zach. Thinks a little bit more about it. Oh, never mind. Pops up Fizzif actually as the damage comes through from Venom Cast there. Jing knock up there as well. Man, probably going to go down here as well. Jojo deep there doing damage with the file. They tanks up a couple tower hits as well. And this is bad news for World Elite. 20 seconds till Ezreal's here. They're probably going to lose both their inhibitors here.
It's looking like there might even be the push on for the victory. Have to wait and see.
Positive Energy decide to play it safe. Back off now. Away from the top lane, but mid inhibitor down, top inhibitor down. And we mentioned it, the comp here looked kind of interesting for both teams, so you could certainly see what they were both going for, but if you want to talk about raw power, there is nothing, not much more powerful, I would say, than Twitch Karthus, and this Baron's going to get absolutely melted.
I mean, the Baron damage was already considerable before, and now it's just out of this world.
And there we go, Baron down. Positive Energy unlock that achievement here. They've got one more inhibitor left if they want to kind of get them all, but at this point they'll just be happy with the next exploding, really, really charging ahead. Now almost 10k ahead here. They're close to it. They'll probably make it if they win this game. And World Elite, the thing is, Papa, I mean, you say it a lot. What does a team fight that World Elite win look like at this point?
I mean, it has to be a massive misplay from Name, and he'll have his flash up for the next fight. He has Barrier up, he has Mercurial Scimitar up. I mean, with those factors in there, with a Lulu peeling for him, has the exhaust up herself, and of course Wild Growth. I don't think there is a fight that they can potentially win. Just one of those cases where, before we saw the organized 5v5 fights over objectives, a lot of World Elite's picks and a lot of what they were doing looked very intuitive and strong, but when it comes to 5v5 settings, they just have no answer for the rat whatsoever.
No, and the damage is just insane. I mean, all credit to Nama. He's certainly he's shown us his Twitch already this weekend, and he's showing it here again. It looks very, very strong. That's just discounting Jojo doing obscene damage right now. I mean, at 6-5 and 13, he's definitely overshadowed by the 10-2-13 Twitch. But Rabadon, Zhonya's, Seraph's, Roa, and Avoid stuff I can only assume coming up with that blasting wand in the inventory. Karthus is also doing stupid amounts of damage here, and it says a lot that Twitch is enough here to beat World Elite for Positive Energy. They don't even need the massively farmed Karthus they also have.
It just feels like they're not getting much purchase from the Evelynn. I mean, the Evelynn has the auras. In a lot of ways, she's very similar in a team fight to Jarvan, but just doesn't have that same oomph.
No, and kind of discount the fact that, you know, they've got a big tanky man, Kano, and there he is, Zach, gonna go in there and try and be disruptive. Good double stun there coming out from Messiah. Zonas is in there as well. Jing over the top as well. They're trying to kite this one out. The damage still coming in. Messiah goes down there. Salmei absolutely obliterated there by Twitch's damage. There's the knock up again from Jing coming through. World Elite, they'll try and make it happen here, but Wage out, there's not a whole lot he can do. He gets the kill onto Karthus. Requiem's just gonna make things very bad there, as the Fountain there is going to shake off most of that damage, but Positive Energy, Karthus the only casualty, they get the final inhibitor that they want, and World Elite, you have to think they're probably losing the rest of their base here. I think Positive Energy, unless a miracle happens now from World Elite, never mind, no miracle. Last game of the week here in week 3, World Elite get taken out by their former B-Team squad mates. The B-Team no more, Papa Smithy. Positive Energy with the win there.
And that win also takes them level on wins with World Elite in second place in the LPL. Of course, now OMG have opened up a 2-win gap there. A massive gap for them this early, but Positive Energy shown they have a lot of character. I mean, they couldn't take it down the first time against World Elite in week 1, but just played smart League of Legends, and I guess you have to say drafted better, because it just reached a point where the team comps just kind of decided the game. Smart play from Name, but everyone played their role, and it felt like there was no answer to the massive space control and the free hitting Twitch.
Yeah, we were almost worried at one point being that, well, Positive Energy, they've got a good aggressive start here, but can they out teamfight the teamfight team? Turns out when you draft this way, you probably can. And I mean, I would almost say Papa beat World Elite at their own game, which is not something we say often. But
we were lauding them for their Twisted Fate comp yesterday, pastry time. They looked super, super strong against Invictus Gaming. And in elements of this game, it was all even. But once those 5v5 fights started to happen, we started to flesh out what each team did. It quickly became apparent that the Rat just wasn't going to get killed.
No, and that's not to discount the rest of Positive Energy. A great game there to round out our last day of play here on the weekend, and that is week 3 of the LPL Summer in the books now, as we are all done here. Of course, join us next week for week 4 as we continue on with the Chinese LPL. It's been fantastic so far to cover these games here. Of course, my name is Pastrom. I've been joined by Papa Smithy, and it's been our pleasure to bring this to you. If you've missed any of the games somehow, first of all, what are you doing? And of course, second of all, please head over to youtube.com/lolchampseries. You can check it out, but we are done here for week 3, day 3. We are done here for this weekend. We'll catch you next week for week 4. More Tencent LPL Summer will be back. We'll see you later.